Meet me at the crossroads so you don't get lonely. That's right, man. The Detroit Lions are at a crossroads right now. It is time for the Detroit Lions to go all in to make sure they get to their first ever Super Bowl in 2024. After falling short in 2023, playtime is over, man. It's over. Brad Holmes has neglected the pass rush opposite Aiden Hutchinson, and I'm talking about the defensive end. We shopped at the dollar store, the Dollar Tree, for bargain bin stuff, and now it's come back to bite us in the tush push, all right? And now it is time for the Detroit Lions to swing for the fences. Yes, I made a video, swing for this fence, yesterday about Hassan Reddick. Hassan Reddick is a choice, but that was before the Cincinnati Bengals dropped to 0-3. So statistically, they would have to become the first team in NFL history to start 0-3 and make and win a Super Bowl. So you can say that that is over. But this guy right here, I mentioned him in yesterday's video, Trey Hendrickson. We need to make a trade for Trey Hendrickson. This would be the move. If I had to pick one move, and I know it seems like everybody, any pass rusher, sign him. And you know what? You'd be right. But you know what? I think y'all slowly coming around to my side of your side of the bed. Y'all coming to my side of the fence, bruh, because now you see what I'm talking about. You've been seeing what I've been talking about. You just didn't want to. Now you see it. Now you see that, a lot of times I speak, it might be with a bunch of emotion. Sometimes, occasionally, I yell into the mic. But most of the time, there's a point behind all of this. And if you guys, I'll put my video asking, was Marcus Davenport a mistake? Should we have kept Matthew Betts instead? Or would we come back to regret the Marcus Davenport signing? And the answer is a resounding yes. Now, Trey Hendrickson is a dog, but guess what? That ain't the best part. There's two things to this that why this trade would make a ton of sense. Brad Holmes, okie doke, to Minnesota Vikings twice. Traded away TJ Hawkinson, and he used them to trade for Jamison Williams in the 2022 NFL Draft. If anybody can make this happen, it would be the Detroit Lions. Oh, and guess what else? Guess who used to play with Big Trey? That's right. Number 98, DJ Reader. You talking about a reunion? Good times all day. Check this out. Trey Hendrickson. Why am I talking about this? It is because the Cincinnati Bengals, as mentioned earlier, are 0-3. Trey Hendrickson, 29. He'll be turning 30 later this year as we're making a push for the playoffs. Drafted in 2017 in the third round, pick number 103 to New Orleans. Well, what about that makes some sense? Shout out to my guy, John Doe. What about this? New Orleans. Well, guess who was coaching in New Orleans in 2017? That would be one Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn. So when he was drafted, our head coach and defensive coordinator were both with the New Orleans Saints. Well. So that's one logic right there. We'll get to another one later. Let's look at his stats for this year. You talking about a man's. Now, I know a lot of y'all want Max Crosby, but Max Crosby is like, somebody said, why don't we sign Mary Poppins? That would be what Max Crosby is. The Raiders are going down that hole of no return. Maybe they made the right decision, maybe they didn't. Max Crosby is not really realistic, but this, however, could be. All right, so let's take a look at Trey Hendrickson, 6'4", 230. So he's shorter than Hutch, but he weighs more than Hutch. He's a big boy, 29, turning 30. All right. This year, he has 7 solo tackles. Out of those 7 solo, guess what? 3 of them are sacks. I got to give a shout out to my man, Spirit of Detroit Podcast. He was on Twitter yesterday and said, now the trade videos are going to start coming. He would be right. He knows me all too well. But check, so that's just this year. So almost half of the brother's tackles, almost half of his tackles are for sacks. And that's what we need. We need sacks. Now, let's take a look at his game log. Let's look at his stats for his career. New Orleans. He started off his career slow, but that last year, man, that's what got him to Cincinnati. Look at that, 13.5, 14.5. And then last year had a career year. This guy's worst year was his sophomore year. His second to worst year was his first year. And ever since then, 4.5, the first three a little shaky, a little slow, right? 13.5, 14, 8. Could you imagine? Now, don't forget, this 17.5 was with DJ Reader. Now, I don't expect Trey Hendrickson to get 17.5 with Big Hutch. You know what I'm saying? But he already got 3 on the season. That's more than any other Detroit Lion not named Aiden Hutchinson. All right? But I ain't even got to the best part yet. Now, we've talked about DJ Reader. We've talked about Khalil Mack. You guys absolutely love Max Crosby. And yes, Max Crosby said if there was anywhere he would want to play for, that would be the Detroit Lions. I'm not mad at him. Of course, Dan Campbell is that guy, right? But I just don't think financially Max Crosby is an option. However, Trey Hendrickson, if we could if we can get the Cincinnati Bengals to part ways with him, he is a financially feasible option. All right, feasible. I got a visa. Do you have a visa? Feasible option. All right, here's the deal. Check this out. Let's blow this up so y'all can see it. 125 right there. All right, so Trey Hendrickson is under contract for this year and next year. All right, so on the table, 14 point. He actually signed an extension a couple years ago. But check this out. In 2024, Hendrickson will earn a base salary of $14.8 million while carrying a cap hit of 20. It's pretty big. And a dead cap of 7. That's all right. But that cap hit right there is a big cap hit. But here's the thing. The Bengals would want some substantial capital, and we would have to pay him for next year. But look at that. 2025, $15 million would be his base, and his signing bonus would be 2. So that's approximately $17 million, right? This guy, we got that. Now, here's the deal. This is why this would make a ton of sense. It really would. Y'all talk about like breaking the bank, selling the farm. Signing Trey Hendrickson would not break the bank. We wouldn't be selling the farm either. We would trade for the rest of this year. He would be under contract for next year. I'm sure with the relationship he has with Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn, even though Dan Campbell is the one that's really in on the decision-making to a certain extent, that they would work something out. Whether it's, you know what, Trey, let's talk about an extension next year. We're going to pay Hutch. We know that. And then we're going to pay Aleem McNeil. And then Trey could possibly get extended as well. If we traded for him, we would have him for the rest of 2024 and 2025 with the possibility of extending him. However, if we didn't extend him, I wouldn't be mad. I would not be mad unless we gave up a first-round pick. Now, speaking of draft capital, what could we do to send the Cincinnati Bengals? You ain't gonna like this. I don't know. I didn't think to look to see what the 2025 draft pick. So let's see. Detroit Lions 2025 draft picks. Let's see what we have, because you ain't gonna like what I'm about to say. I already know. Maybe some of you guys would come around and come on to this. All right, let me see. Usually I go to Tankathon. Let's see. Detroit Lions 2025 draft picks. All right, so this is our current draft picks, excuse me, for 2025. No, I don't think this is right. Because Terrion Arnold was taken in the 24th overall. So I don't think this is right. So what would we do? What could I see happening? I would package. If it really depends. Now, if we're going to extend Trey, if Brad Holmes knows that we're going to extend Trey Hendrickson, I would be willing to part with the first. You got to get, I'm there. Dude is a beast. DJ Reader. First of all, just imagine the possibilities. Trey Hendrickson, DJ Reader, Aleem McNeil, and Aiden Hutchinson, bro. We would have, our defensive line would be probably top 5 at that point. We would vault up. There would be nobody that could stop them edges. You would have to step up in the middle, and one of them DTs would clobber you. That's just facts. What would I be willing to give up? I would be willing to part with the first-round pick, one first-round pick, if we're going to extend him, for sure. If we're going to sign him, maybe extend him 2 years, he'll be with us for a total of at least 3.5. I would part with the first round pick. We're getting there. We're getting to the point where we are able to part with first round picks. That's where we are. Now, if we are not going to extend him, again, I really would want to know, you guys can put in the comment section what the Detroit Lions have as far as draft picks, because I did not see it. 2025 draft order. Let me see real quick, because I would feel much better actually knowing what we have, because this can't be right. It says we got pick 24. Okay, this might be right. This might be right. So let's take a look at it. But Terrion Arnold was selected 24, so that's kind of weird. That's where we are right now, I guess. All right, so according to Tankathon, this is what we have. I would be willing. We don't have a third-round pick, so after the – and keep in mind, Brad Holmes has traded in every draft, so I would totally expect him to trade up somewhere if there's a guy he really wants. But for me, I am willing. Our first-round pick, think about it. Our first-round pick is going to be pretty low. We're assuming, right? If we get to the Super Bowl, it's going to be 31, 32. We make it where we made it last year. It's going to be 29 or 30. So I'm willing to give up a first, but I would probably part with the second. And I would also throw in James Houston. James Houston time with the Detroit Lions is coming to an end, if you ask me. So either way, I would give them a second-round pick and James Houston. They probably will want more than that, but at the same time, he gets to walk after next year. So would they? I'm sure they would hold out and see if they could get more for him, but I would be willing to give up a first-round pick. Y'all don't understand, we have let all the pass rushers. For 2025, there's nobody available. There might be a Khalil Mack, something like that, maybe a Joey Bosa, but this was the best year, like I said last night, for a free agent pass rusher, for at least going into 2025. So I would give up, either way it goes, I would give up a first round pick but I would feel more comfortable if we extend him with the first round. But you know what? If I knew we were going to win the Super Bowl, I would give up a first round pick. This year or next year, I would give up a first round pick. Mission accomplished, right? At that point. But for me, I think if we're going to extend him, first round pick. If we're not, I would give the Cincinnati Bengals a second round. Let's see what they have. Let's see, because we gotta let's see if I can. Y'all say that I think I'm smarter than Brad Holmes, which I don't, by the way. But let's see. Right now, the Cincinnati Bengals have the third pick in the draft at this point. All right, so they got a second, they got a third, they got a fourth, they got a fifth. So they got one in every round. We don't have a third because we gave that up for Carlton Davis. I would give them a second, and I got off the Detroit ones. So put in the comment section below. James Houston is part of this. They would gain someone. It ain't Trey level, but they would gain someone by getting James Houston, ship him off, put him in the orange and black Houday, right? Houday, right? Houday is the Saints. Houday, make him fresh start over there. James Houston, good to go. First, I would give them a first round pick. If we extend him, I would give them James Houston and at least a second if we don't. If we're just going to have him James Houston is not on his team after this year anyway. His contract is over. So I would give them a second round pick, and at least they're going to want more than that. They probably want at least one more pick. So I would give them James Houston, a second round pick, and it went away. And maybe another pick in 2026. Maybe. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below, man. Brad Holmes, swing for the fences. Super Bowl winning move. This is how you get it done. Man. If you look at the history of Super Bowl champions, they have either made a move, force a game-changing player, or they have kept that game-changing player on their team. We have only had a few game changers on our team. Like Amon-Ra St. Brown is a game changer. I think Aiden Hutchinson is a game changer. He might not have been this year. You could debate that, but I think this year he is. So anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Would you trade for Trey Hendrickson? Do you think it's a possibility? I do. The Cincinnati Bengals, they're not done yet. But the trade deadline, they're 0-3. So statistically, their Super Bowl hopes are over. They would have to defy every single odd that it's been in 59 years, which is possible, right? But last night, those dreams were dashed. They got to get there now, and they struggling right now. Pittsburgh is 3-0 while they're 0-3. So their season could be over. They could be having kind of a mini, garage sale. And Trey is a guy that we should absolutely go target. If you had to give me a choice between Hassan Reddick and Trey, I'm taking Trey all day because there's no contract dispute. He's younger, and to me, he is a dog. He is a dog, man. So I would get him in a second. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. This channel is brought to you by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you. Don't forget that today the Lion is still for sale. There's a couple made. It's for sale every day, but today we have because the Lions won again, we have an extra $15 off your purchase, but you got to make that purchase today in order for that to happen. There are some Lions already made, so he can ship it out as early as tomorrow, and you could have it by Monday Night Football at the latest, okay? This channel is brought to you by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you. I think I said that already. Take care of yourself and each other. You could be anywhere else on YouTube, but you choose to rock with me. And as always, go Lions. Brad Holmes, get it done, bruh. It's time. This is our time. We are in our Super Bowl window.